We're here with Knox Colby of Enforced.
How's it going, everybody?
Well, how are you today?
Good, busy, hot, very hot outside.
All right. Well, it's about time it started getting hot because it's April already.
Yeah,
A few
I'm
a few
I'm
days a few
dousing
weeks
sweat.
ago, it was actually snowing in Romania, so it was very weird weather.
Wow, really? That's nuts. It's
Yeah,
about 90 degrees here, so that's like what, 30, 35 Celsius?
yeah. Thankfully, not 90 degrees Celsius. That would be a bit inconvenient.
Yeah, that'd be not good.
All right. So we're waiting on the release of your album. Should be soon enough.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah,
2 weeks, something like that. I did manage to give it a listen. It sounds like an Enforced album, all right. So I wanted
thank
to
you.
ask, because you've been working on it for so long, what do you feel like you consciously did different than what you did on the previous album?
Uh, I would say we learned from the mistakes that we made in Kilgrave.
Hmm.
A lot of the songs are kind of long, especially for like a quick thrash song. They don't need to be 5, 7 minutes, stuff like that. Took out all the samples and sounds and synth stuff. Didn't need that either. So we just kept it short and simple and sweet.
Yeah, that explains why it's
Um,
30 minutes instead of 40.
yeah, I mean, a lot of the tracks are between 2 and 3.5 minutes. Like, they're a lot more simple. Um, I mean, there are technical parts, but I mean, for the most part, it's pretty straightforward and fast and aggressive.
Hmm. So that way they're very serviceable in what you would want an Enforced song to be, like straight to the
Yeah,
point.
or like an enforced set if you were to see us live.
Hmm.
Um, that's what you would want to see. So, I mean, we're always constantly writing. So, I mean, even after Kilgrid came out, we just kept continuing on. So, yeah, it took about a year, maybe on or off a year, because we did a lot of touring and we weren't really writing when we were touring. So, I guess we wrote it in like 5 or 6 months and then recorded it for a week. So it's sharp.
Hmm. And about the lyrical themes, have you approached anything a bit differently this time?
Um,
Because the
it
last one retrospectively did get a bit of a pandemic feel, even though you did write it before it.
Yeah,
Uh,
weird,
but
right?
now this one was written after it. Was that influenced in any way?
Um, I don't think it was influenced by the pandemic. Maybe subconsciously, I didn't like actively do it, but it's more deals with paradoxes and uh, I read a lot of psychology books and stuff, so that was kind of more of the approach rather than history books and uh, what's it called? Not paleontology, the study of early man and stuff like that. I didn't really delve too much into that. I read a lot of Carl Jung and James Hillman, and there's a little bit of sci-fi in there. Harlan Ellison is a big influence of mine.
All right. I was a bit confused when I got the promo of the album, because there's also another band which you get confused with a lot, Enforcer,
Hmm.
which are also releasing an album this spring.
Hmm.
I will probably be writing about that one. If they wanted me to interview them, I will. Uh, have you gotten in contact with them in any way? Obviously, having heard of them.
No, no. Um, it happens all the time. I used to hate it, but I don't really care. Like
Mhm.
we both our names are close. Okay.
All right. So we shouldn't be expecting a split on the horizon or a tour together where
That
we can be
I
even
wouldn't
more
be
confused.
I wouldn't be opposed. That would be fun if they took our logo and put an R on it, and then we took their logo and put a D on it. That would be
Mhm.
fun. It's really fucking confusing.
All right, but isn't it a bit weird because they're the one doing the active action of enforcing, while you're the ones who get the action done on them. You're the ones being enforced.
I'm the oppressed in this equation. Yeah, I like that. Sounds good.
All right. I also wanted to ask that you have released a standalone single a while ago on the Flexi series called Casket.
Hmm.
Is that gonna show up on anything like a deluxe edition, or is just standalone? That's it.
Yeah, that was just a standalone thing that we did with Decibel for the Decibel tour.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we still have our copies and we sell them at shows and stuff, but I think most people who wanted it got it through the magazine.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people already have it, but they gave us, I think, 200 copies. So they're in my garage with all the other albums.
All right. Because I was checking on like all the versions of the new album to see if it was like a bonus track or something that wasn't
Nah, it's
considered.
just this one. No, it's just one standalone thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was from the. It was a song that didn't make the cut on Killgrid, so we
Mm-hmm.
recorded it during Killgrid. But we're like, let's just have it just in case something pops up, and something did pop up. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, perfect. We already have a song for it. Here you go.
All right. Then how big is your vault of unreleased stuff?
Huh?
How big is the vault of unreleased stuff?
I think that's it.
All right.
There. I can't think of anything that we've written and haven't released. Or like that we've recorded and haven't released now. There's like maybe some covers that we just had extra time and just fucking around playing and did some covers for fun. But so that's like 3 songs.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, 3 songs, 3 covers.
All right. They're probably gonna wind up on some deluxe anniversary 20 years from now.
Yeah, who knows? Hopefully that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of the questions I saw you being asked in interviews were related to the big move you went when you got to Century Media. But the story was that was most interesting to me was how you thought the email that they sent you was a prank.
Yeah, or it's just like some weirdo, which I don't know. Just it never occurred to us that we would have like any type of like bigger appeal.
Mm.
So we were just like, that's dumb. Like I never, yeah. Until they kept hitting us up, being like, "Hey, this is for real." We're like, "Oh shit, our bad." Sorry. It just shows how stupid we are. That's fine.
Well, yeah, as someone who regularly has to email bands and contact them and whatnot, I do wonder how many of them do think they're pranking them or something. Or if Century Media gets ignored, I feel better about myself.
Yeah, yeah. We definitely ignored them for like a month.
Mm.
Sorry. It all worked out. That's fine.
Yeah, well, imagine if it didn't. I mean, probably not that much would be different.
No, we would still have Killgrid out, and we would still have um War Remains out. Just no one would hear it. That would be the difference.
Well, they did get popular on Bandcamp and other sites, so
Yeah,
maybe maybe you'd still be popular, just not to that huge level.
yeah. I think about it often. Just like how many DIY tours would we have done if we didn't get on Century Media? Probably a lot.
Mhm. And also, one other thing I read in interviews with you that what I was a bit surprised. Like, obviously, you don't listen to just metal and thrash metal and hardcore and whatnot. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but I was not expecting to see Brian Eno as one of
Oh, dude,
the,
he's one of my
the top.
favorites.
All right, so
He's been a favorite of
let's
mine
talk a bit
since
about that.
sure, would love to. Yeah, he's been a huge influence of mine since when did I listen to music for airports? I was probably like 13,
Hmm.
and I've just been a huge fan of his ever since. So I my collection of his records is extensive, and
Well, he's got a
I
lot of
love
them.
yeah, I listen to a lot of his lectures um that he presents at like universities um or art spaces and stuff like that. So I just find him like a fascinating person. So I'm a huge Brian Eno fan.
Hmm. It's a bit unexpected that you, a vocalist, are being so influenced by music that's specifically not vocal led.
Yeah, because it gives you, because I mean, all of the songs are really long, so it gives you time to
Yeah,
just
like
kind
the
of sit.
enforced one.
Yeah, um, it gives you time to kind of. It's just nice background music to think with. So whether if I'm reading or doing research or just kind of writing or thinking about life or whatever, he's always in the background.
Hmm.
Um, it's just good thinking music to me.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's a lot of the appeal of ambient music and generally very long form music.
Hmm.
That it's music that's really nice to listen to in the background, but also when you pay attention to it, it's not like just useful
Oh,
music. It's all
if you listen to it,
it's useful on both terms. It works on both terms, both in the
yeah,
background and in the foreground.
yeah, if you actively listen to it, it's fascinating. But if you
Hmm.
aren't really paying attention, it's still good.
Hmm. All right. Uh, you moved to Richmond, the Richmond area. You weren't born there. You moved somewhere around your teens, right?
I moved to Richmond when I was 17. Yeah,
All right.
right when I graduated high school.
I'm not really that familiar with the regional scenes of the US. Obviously, I know the Bay Area thrash metal, the Florida death
Uh,
metal, and so on. So, can you, other than Lamb of God, can you tell us a bit about the Richmond area and what the scene there is like?
um, when I moved here, it was a little bit different. It was a little bit more tribal. Like shows weren't really all that mixed, but
Hmm.
like Lamb of God, Guar, Municipal Waste, Cannabis Corpse, Iron Reagan, um, Darkest Hour, I think is from Richmond. Yeah, I mean it's got a big legacy for metal bands and for hardcore bands. I mean that's basically why I moved to Richmond. Like I did it under the guise of, you know, there's a there's a university here that I really want to go to. I came up here just to go to shows, um, and to mosh and to stage dive and to play in bands and stuff like that. And but I got my degree and stuff. But I've been in since moving here. I've been in 4 bands. Uh, yeah, 4. And then before that in high school, I was in like 9. So I've always been playing music.
Mm. Any of those other than enforced release, anything?
Oh yeah, there's demo tapes and you know, I think the most any of them did. No, Breakdance had. I was in this like Nintendo core band called Breakdance Kickboxer. We put out 2 LPs or two full lengths while we were in high school, which is nuts. And this my hardcore band, Vice Grip, we put out a demo, a 7-inch EP, and then a cassette EP. Um, Brainwhack put out a CD. My punk band Brainwhack put out a CD and a demo. Um, I think that's about it. Mostly it's just demo stuff. Just you know, like, hey, we have this idea. Let's get some people together, write some songs, record it, put it on tape. Done. Next one. Like that's
Obviously,
kind of how
yeah.
it all. That's kind of how it operated in high school. So yeah, nothing really like got off the ground. I would say, but
Mhm.
it was fun while it lasted, for sure. But yeah,
Yeah.
this is definitely the biggest thing I've ever done. I never expected to do anything like this.
And yet here you are.
Yeah, here I am talking to you in a grocery store parking lot. So you know, life is good.
I'm asking because I was looking at your Metal Archives page and there's nothing else other than enforced there. So I was
Mm,
curious. I thought that it
totally
couldn't
fine.
have been your first band, but so
Uh, I was gonna say some of them might be if you go on discogs.com.
mhm.
Some I haven't looked in a long time, but some of the other bands might be on there.
All right. So, what was the first? What's the thing that pops to your mind that when you remember when you were listening to music very early in your life, that you can pinpoint as saying, okay, this is what makes me want to become a musician?
Honestly, uh, moshing and pitting. Like I was listening to an interview from a couple days ago, and now the name escapes me, so ignore that. But that was kind of the same thing for this other guy. It was like, how can you be on stage and make people act like that? Because that's what I want to do.
Mhm.
And I was like, yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Like, or felt the same way when I was a kid. I was just like, I just want people to go nuts to the music that I'm playing or writing or whatever. And that's kind of what like the music I kind of pursued uh, going into middle school and high school was just it needs to be harder, more aggressive, needs to be louder, it needs to be faster, um, because it needs to be more aggressive. That's just what I'm drawn to. Um, and so yeah, I think with Enforced, like we're there. That's pretty cool.
Mhm. Yeah, good for you.
Thank you.
Um, well, the relationship between metal and punk, because both of these are genres that were born around the 70s and have kind of grown together, interacting quite a lot, maybe more than any
Mm-hmm.
other genre the metal has interacted with. But they're still pretty separate. Like I wouldn't call Minor Threat a metal band
No.
or something like that. So and yeah, that there was a huge overlap, but there's still, I think, a lot of punk and hardcore and whatnot that's very appealing to metalheads, but that metalheads don't really venture much into, like especially a lot of the power violence stuff from the 80s or
Mm-hmm.
rust punk and whatnot. What were some of your favorites from that era that you think they should get a lot more recognition among metalheads as being influential?
Um, I mean, maybe like I'm sure a lot of metalheads already do, but like Courage and Conformity, like
Mhm.
they're like an early hardcore band that turned into a metal band pretty much. Um, you know, Minor Threat, obviously. Um, Bad Brains, solely because the solos from Doctor No are incredible. Um, I mean the Cro-Mags, every metal dude should know the Cro-Mags. Um, Crumb Suckers, it's another good one. Um, yeah, just like Leeway isn't. I mean, that's kind of getting into the '90s, but those types of hardcore bands and punk bands formed a lot of for like generations, and you could probably hear it, in a lot of metal bands. And honestly, a lot of metal guys that are in metal bands are just better guitarists when they were before they were in their hardcore bands.
Mhm.
Uh, a lot of metal guys grew up on hardcore and punk, but as they got better at their music, at their uh, guitars and drums or whatever, they were able to play more difficult things, and they kind of slowly everything slowly kind of moves to metal because you're allowed to play like more technical stuff. But yeah, it's really funny to see how many metal guys are just like really into like crust punk or really into like Japanese hardcore and stuff.
Mhm. Right. Really loud and intense stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm. But I don't think also that like punk and technicality are separate. Obviously, stuff like Ramones is not technical. But
No.
a lot of the 90s stuff, especially that developed around that time, grew to be very
hmm
technical in the punk area. Stuff like Orchid or the Converge, the Madcore stuff that
Yeah.
evolved at the time.
hmm
Because
I agree.
it's not completely metal. I'd say that Converge are punk first and metal second.
Converge is a hardcore band, 1000%. But like even
Mhm.
I think Kurt Ballou has said that like Converge set out to just like write and play bad Slayer songs.
Mhm.
Like, and if you listen to it through that like mindset, it's exactly what it sounds like, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
Well, you can
just
tell that it's a feedback loop. I can tell that punk was also influenced by metal, not just metal was influenced by punk. Obviously, we see the influence that punk has had on metal. We don't really think how it went the other way around because we're looking at a bit historically from the metal perspective.
Yeah, right.
All right. What's your beverage of choice?
Right now is this. It's the if you work in construction or in any type of trade, this is your favorite drink. I don't know why it is the way it is, but I've noticed that if you're a contractor, everyone is drinking this. And I was like, why? What's so special about it? It's fucking good. So I drink a couple of these a day, and then my favorite beer of choice is Miller High Life. So once I get home, I will be drinking a lot of those.
All right. What I have here is a small Palinka bottle that I got from when I went to Serbia.
Oh, cool.
And I have some Palinka that my roommate brought from his small town. It's a Schweppes bottle. It's not Schweppes in there, don't worry. I have an entire array of bottles of alcohol, some bought from the store, some homemade. I don't drink a lot actually. This one is a bit more of a just a little bit of tasting because obviously it's not a lot in here.
Yeah. Is it good?
Well, it fucks you up a bit.
Good.
I guess that's the point.
Yeah, I think that's the point.
All right. So what's next in store for Enforced after the release of this album? Obviously, a lot of touring. I bet you can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah, I can't wait for the record to finally be released. That would be a huge burden lifted off everyone's shoulders to just finally have it out. Let's see. We're doing a record release show in Richmond with a bunch of friends. We're going on tour with Venom Inc., Exhumed, and Acid Witch this summer, and then there's some other tours and some other out of town dates all summer and into the fall that they're booked. They just haven't been announced yet. So we're basically done for the rest of the year. We're like all booked up.
All right. Have you started writing or conceptualizing for what's to come after War Remains?
Yeah, we're already 4 songs in.
All right. Is it gonna sound like War Remains?
No.
Oh,
not to my ear. Not to my ear.
Okay.
I mean,
we should already be getting excited.
It sounds like an Enforced record, but it doesn't remind me of War Remains at all. From what I've heard, I mean, I think I've listened to them like maybe once or twice. So just like, okay. But I mean, I thought the exact same thing about War Remains songs. I was just like, I can't hear it like at all. It just doesn't make any sense to me until they like sit me down and like, this is the chorus, this is the verse. I'm like, oh, it's all gobbledygook until it's explained to me.
All right.
But yeah, we're getting there.
I wouldn't mind an even shorter album if you make it even faster.
That's a thought.
I do remember, Gate Creeper, right?
Yeah.
Because they were releasing albums, OSDM albums. At some point, I was starting, okay, I've heard this one before. And then they released an EP where the first side of the EP was just 1 minute short, very fast punk songs. And then the last was a really 10-minute long Doom song.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, they modeled that after the Black Flag album, My War, because that's how My War is. Which is a cool idea. But I think we'd rather put out 3 solid LPs first before we start playing around with like EPs or anything like that. So we're just going to continue on the path of the LP and get 3 solid ones down, and then who knows?
All right.
Just break up.
You're cheating because you're not considering your first one, since that's just 2 demos split melded
True,
together.
but I mean, it depends on who you talk to. Some people say that's the first LP, which I don't think is an LP. Or I wouldn't consider it. I would consider it a collection. It's on a
Mhm.
12-inch record, but that doesn't make it an LP. Um,
Yeah, like there's plenty of demo compilations. You don't count them as even if they're
no, I
remastered.
don't. Yeah, I don't count it as an LP, but I count Kill Grid and War Remains as definitely our LPs. So then we're working on the third one, and then we'll see what happens from there. Maybe do some splits. That'd be cool.
Yeah, a split with Enforcer.
Yeah, there we go. We're already done. We're halfway there.
All right. So then we just have to wait a bit and see how experimental you're going to get. I can't wait for the Brian Eno covers album.
It's gonna be very Phil Collins.
Right.
It's
No, you're
yeah.
just going to cover Brian Eno songs, but a cappella.
Okay, I'll do it.
All right.
Easy.
Then
Easy.
can't wait for that to happen. So is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, just thank you for your time and for everyone watching this and listening to this. Thank you so much for giving us a couple minutes of your time as well. Thank you.
All right. Then make sure to check out War Remains when it drops. We're certainly going to review it. Hopefully
Excellent. Can't wait.
positively, but you never know.
Uh-oh. Oh no. Here we go.
All right.